the person we have just above Siakam is someone who I had just under Siakam, but you clearly had a much higher ranked. But to me, it's hard to say this, but I completely understand. If this bubble didn't happen, then I don't think that you put this guy above Pascal Siakam. But because of the potential he has, we have Zion Williamson at number 6, could easily be in the top 5. But with the amount of games he played last year, with a lack of staying healthy, he could easily just be number 15 as well.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a guy who honestly I didn't even write any stats down for because, like you said, I feel like everything it's almost just like based off pure potential because last year showed us so little. Where yeah, sure, he put up his 22, and I believe
22 and 6.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, there was games where like yeah, he shoot a lot of threes, but he shot at a decent rate. He hit his 4 in the first game, and everyone went crazy. He had a few good games, but like we really only saw a glimpse of Zion, like you said, and that's why he can't be higher. And yes, I agree. If it wasn't for the bubble, I, as a player, would also rank Pascal Siakam above him as well. So yeah, Zion is really just based off like even this year,
But
like he could
the
be
potential he brings, though,
yeah,
he could be the hardest player in the paint, as far as be hard in the paint quote kind of goes, in the whole league. He brings a physicality. To me, he reminds me of someone like Montrezl Harrell, being able to bully people. But the guy's only 20 years old. He's so young. He's already a much better player than Montrezl Harrell will ever be. He has such a big amount of potential. He could be that Anthony Davis. He could be better than Anthony Davis in certain areas. I don't until he can prove us his shooting. I can't even compare him to any of the players on top of him, below him, and anywhere close to him right now. Like he shot 42% from three last year, but he only shot 0.6 per game.
yeah,
He hit 4 in his first game. Think of that. That
exactly,
means what? He shot another 10 the rest of the year. So
exactly.
like, it's not fair to count his potential on shooting based on that. I think he's been hurt a lot. He reminds me a lot of Embiid in that sense, but Embiid's a great shooter. If Williamson is as well, then he would have shot more than 0.6 per game. He plays bully ball. He does that great. He has the potential to be the best power forward in the league. Whenever Giannis starts kind of winding down his career a little bit, but until he actually does that, until he can actually play a full year, he cannot crack the top 5 and I can't even think of him as close to the top 5 until he can prove to me that he can be a star player on a playoff team
Yeah,
and be healthy.
and not only play a full year, but also play more than 27 minutes a game, right? Like this is a guy who going into the year, there's so much knack on his cardio, he's out of shape, whatever. And I mean, if you look at our thumbnail again, like the arms on this guy, unreal. Like
Oh, bigger than mine.
but it's like he literally it looks like DK Metcalf from the NFL, who is known as like the biggest freak in the NFL, just physically. That's what Zion Wilson looked like. Like in terms of athleticism, again, I know there was a sports science thing where apparently taking a dunk full on from Zion is the exact same force as getting hit by a Dodge Ram at 15 miles per hour. Like that's how much force he could generate. So yeah, like this guy is just a tank coming through. But I need
He's essentially LeBron James in the paint. Like nobody else can power their way through,
and that's why
especially
he's
at his age.
yeah, and that's just why I need to see 32,
That's why he's
33
high.
minutes a game. I need to see, like you said, the consistency in terms of a full season. But yeah, I mean, even this year's eyeing so high because we could easily see him at like 25 and 8, 25 and 9
And
easily this year.
yeah, no, easily. And if he does get to that level this year, and Brandon Ingram puts up another 25 points per game, then we're talking about New Orleans being a contender.
Definitely.
But until he can prove to be healthy for a whole year, I think of someone like Kyrie. I know Kyrie's a completely different player, but just when it comes to health, if he doesn't play a full year, then what's the point of having him there for half the games? You're
Yeah,
not going to be a playoff team, and if he's not healthy come playoff time, well, even if he is healthy come playoff time, if you're not in the playoffs, it doesn't fucking matter.
yeah, and I mean with that too. So there were I mentioned earlier, so I said I didn't look at his stats. I just pulled it up quickly to see if there's anything I could grab off the top of my head. So I mentioned earlier about Brandon Clark being one of the highest field goal percentage in terms of efficiency, and how it was anyone 8 shots or above, and the next guy was 15. Well, the guy who took 15 shots per game was Zion Williamson. So of guys who took at least 15 shots per game, Zion actually had the best field goal percentage. And most other guys close to them are taking 15 to 16 shots per game.
Yeah.
So in terms of the efficiency, Zion's already got it. He needs to get better from the free throw line. Took 7.5 attempts last year, only hit 64%. With like, it's like the Shaq thing where like your arms are so big, you almost like you don't know your strength, and you think you have to shoot at a certain velocity, and then unfortunately it's always too much or too little. So he needs to figure out his own body, and that's when his free throws we'll see his real kind of consistency there. But if I'm playing the New Orleans Pelicans and I need to stall or need a comeback, I'm probably like doing a hackathon to Zion at this point, honestly.
Right now in his career, yeah, I can see that, but that's something that he can improve on very easily. Again, his numbers are very skewed last year. He didn't play very much.
Yeah.
That being said, if I'm starting an NBA franchise today, I'm considering him very hard to be in that top 5 pick of who I'd pick first.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I even consider him over someone like LeBron James just because of LeBron James is on his way out of his career.
Yeah.
This guy's only 20 years old. He's got his whole life ahead of him.
I think if you were a general manager and if they said, okay, you have a full scrap fantasy draft, you're like LeBron James, they would be like, dude, like there's 19-year-olds who are like gonna be very good too. Do you not want to read? No, like yeah. So
well, you kind of got to think of it that way too, because LeBron James, he'll bring whatever players he wants afterwards, right?
Yeah, but I mean Zion in his own right. I get like definitely. Like he is definitely, if I had a top 5, he would be in it just based on the fact that we know where it's going to be. And even if I had a top 1, he might even be it as well.
But it's hard to say that because he hasn't played.
Exactly.
He needs to play.
Might.
Right? Might. And he might prove us wrong. He's another guy that's, even if he only plays 25, 30 games next year and he puts up something similar to this year, he's probably not going too much further down this rankings than maybe one spot, but he's a guy who has the biggest potential to get up into that top 3. He's the only guy outside of the top 3 that has a potential to get into the top 3.
I guess I would say my only worry is I hope he doesn't fizzle out almost like Andrew Wiggins, where I feel like after year 1, we would have been saying a lot of the same thing about Andrew Wiggins if we did this back then, and he kind of just tapered at what he was. So I hope.
But it's his physicality. I think Zion's going to keep it up.
Definitely.
His physicality is just another level.
I agree. I just like that's just like my only worry. But yeah, I definitely agree that we probably will see him improve opposed to digress. And again, that's why I have him as high as I do at the 6 above Siakam. But overall, as a player, Siakam probably still a better option to pick. I agree.
Isn't it crazy that he's 19 years old? He's actually born in the year 2000, which is 5 years younger than me.
Yep.
That gives you guys a little bit of how old I am there. But isn't it crazy that outside of, he's number 6 here, we don't have anyone in our top 5 outside of one person, I'm not going to say his name, who's higher than 26 years old? It's incredible. The next few people we have, they're only going to get better even. We have here at number